Hello guys, it's your boy Wayo. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the right kind of action, and I'll try to keep it quick because my bet is kind of low, but right now I feel like it's the time I should talk about what I want to talk about. As human beings, whenever we pray for something, we usually want it to happen like instantly, right now, immediately, like it should have happened yesterday even before we prayed for it. We don't take the time to consider that it takes a lot of time and or energy to put things into synchronicity, which people consider magic. It's just you working out angles to ensure that an event is the right angle in the kind of perception and action that you want to experience. So when you pray for something, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to take effect immediately. It might take time if you did the right sort of thing. It can happen immediately if you put the right energy into it. If you yourself are not clouded with the delusions and things of that nature, they can become clear and clear. The more you grow with your senses and your awareness of yourself, you forget to realize that there's more power in you through the energy that you carry, through the potential of your being. There's nothing that's really limiting you other than what you think should happen or your idea of how things should happen. Most of these interpretation of prayer, magic, and these sort of things usually come from people not understanding that everything happens according to them. And whenever they try to seek action in a different way, it's not that they are doing something that's out of nowhere, that has no logic, or is just randomly landing into their place. Like you might wish for something and it appears out of thin air. Yeah, that's a potential. It can happen in reality, but that will depend on your kind of energy you have, the kind of beliefs that you carry. Because there's no one who will do it for you. So people usually pray. They don't put any energy into their prayer. They don't put any energy and emotion into their intention and expect the prayer to happen immediately. They just pray, say some words, and hope that it might happen someday, or something might just happen the right way. Yeah, this usually works, but you can't compare the potential with someone who really has the intention and attention towards something. This doesn't mean that if you put a lot of energy into prayer and magic, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything usually happens immediately. Sometimes you might put a lot of energy, but also there needs a lot of things to be sorted out that can't happen immediately like you wish to happen. Because remember, we're working with synchronicity. Through synchronicity is how we manifest the things that we experience and things that we want. And most of this comes from the things that are in our minds, things that shape our hearts, things that shape what we think about ourselves, things that shape who we think we are, things that make us anticipate specific action, things that make us get into accidents, which there are really no accidents, things that get us to be frustrated, be out of our center. You need to do things with compassionate action. For if you wish to experience some benevolent substance, benevolent action in your life and things of that nature, you need to be more compassionate in your action. And it will take practice and time. It doesn't need to happen immediately. Some of the masters of this world that you have seen and heard about for thousands of years, what they carried the most in them usually was compassion. And because they were compassionate, this didn't make them weak. Their compassion never made them weak. In fact, it was their strength. Their compassion came from wisdom. And this wisdom was true understanding. It doesn't matter what someone else thought or did to them. They had the understanding that this is just a human being who still hasn't realized who he is. And they never hold any grudge on it. And they never expected it to be something that will occur everywhere they go. So they never really tied themselves to those events because they had compassion. Compassion is just a smart way of saying, you can put it in a computer version of sorting out data, having data in a more compressed version in which it's easier to organize than when we have fractured and disoriented information. Then we paste it over with our emotion, creating a lot of commotion that we wish we didn't want to experience, and it was in misalignment with our needs. But you find these things usually come into being from our own misperception, our own misunderstanding, our own miscreation. And we have been taught in this society not to take responsibility in much of our action on things that we experience. We have been taught that it is easier to blame someone else than blaming yourself, or not even blaming yourself. Why should you even blame yourself? These are just guilt mentality that we have set up for ourselves. We think that if we carry this guilt, it will change anything. We think that we are either cursed or out of luck, but we don't understand we are the ones who are creating the events that's happening in our life based on the fears that we carry. You see, you don't only manifest the things that you love, you also manifest the things that you fear. It all applies, it's just the same focus but on a different scale of frequency. But they all paint the events in your life that you experience. So things that you might be scared of might be the things that end up happening the most in your life, because that's the kind of energy you're focusing in at the moment. But you need to realize that you can orient yourself in different ways and approach that kind of mentality and belief which you are using to paint your experience. You don't need to judge what you go through. Just because you feel that someone enlightened should just be having a Prince Charming world or Cinderella version of the universe, that's a form of delusion. Until most of the earth and the mentality of people of the earth changes, in one way or another, you'll interact with people who have not yet known themselves, and they'll show you the level in which they are in. This doesn't mean that you have to bring yourself to their level. This doesn't mean that you have to become like them for you to survive. You should know that you are more aware of yourself and you rely more on who you are. You don't need to go and demean someone else to make sure that you have an identity for yourself or a name for yourself through the demeaning of other people, something like that. Maybe if you're just standing for the truth, and that truth should just be for you and not for someone else. Let every action and event that happens to us be a lesson that we learn through, not something that we end up expecting in every turn of our experience, not something that we end up expecting from every kind of man that we interact with. There might be bad people here and there, but this doesn't mean that we have to paint everyone to be the same. Because us anticipating such people, we end up attracting them, then wonder why this world is so bad, this world is so wicked. Each compassionate action that we take for ourselves and for others help change the energy of the earth, help change the energy of the universe. So with all the wars that we're hearing around us, it doesn't help taking sides. You just need to understand the situation and not get into the ruts of picking a side, saying this one is evil, this is more righteous. There's no reason for war. Any person with wisdom will know that no war is not a solution for anything. In fact, it just creates more problems. And the problem is us, we keep on expecting going to war as a solution to our problems, which hasn't happened. It doesn't solve anything, but slowly it's changing. There's no reason for us to go out mass in war like it used to be in the past. But this doesn't mean that this evil is totally uprooted out of the earth. There are lesser tribal wars because right now people are more organized in form of the nations that they call themselves, which is an amalgamation of different people with different kind of ideologies and karma from their past and their experience in life. So be of compassionate action. The right action is the compassionate action. And with this I'll say peace, amani, upendo. Let's build bridges.